Today on this episode, we'll be changing the lower control arm on a Chrysler 300C. Alright, so the tools of the trade for this process are an impact gun or a 1/2-inch breaker bar, 18mm, 21mm, and 22mm sockets, and box wrenches, a torch kit, flathead screwdriver for the plastic retaining clips holding the wheel well, and a 10mm socket for the intake snorkel. Also, a hammer and a pickle fork if you have one. They definitely help. First thing to do is go ahead and jack up the car, remove the wheel, and remove the 22mm nut holding the ball joint. Let's grab our flathead screwdriver and remove a portion of the wheel well and use a 10mm socket to remove the air intake snorkel. Now this is just for more room for an impact gun. If you have a breaker bar, you may be able to squeeze through without doing this step. Also, the passenger side control arm has no room for an impact gun, so you will need to use a breaker bar anyways on that side. Next, let's remove the 18mm bolt and 21mm nut holding the control arm to the subframe. In this case, we heated the bolt and nut up with our torch and used an 18mm socket and impact gun on the bolt and an adjustable wrench to hold the nut while we unscrewed the bolt. You can also use a 21mm box wrench for holding the nut. Now let's hammer the ball joint out. You may need to heat that area up and use a pickle fork to help out. In our case, just hitting the ball joint out with a hammer popped that baby out. After that, let's wiggle the lower control arm out of the subframe and get our new front control arm and install it back in its place. With the new lower control arm lined back into the subframe, install the 18mm bolt and 21mm nut and tighten those babies up. Next, let's install the ball joint end and torque our 22mm nut back on. Congratulations, you installed the driver's side lower control arm. Now with the lower control arm installed, let's install our air intake snorkel and button that wheel well up. After that, install the wheel, clean up, and take her for a spin. Alright everyone, so this took me and Greg about 20 minutes to replace the driver's side lower control arm. We highly recommend using a torch kit to heat up stubborn bolts and nuts. You can also find the instructions in the description as well, and a link to our other videos in the comments. Thanks for watching everyone. If this helped you out, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. I would really appreciate it. Take care, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.